Welcome to Maresme. Many of you are used to seeing our reviews from either Barcelona or the Costa Brava. And somehow we've been bypassing this stretch between Barcelona and the Costa Brava called Maresme. But we work here too. And today I'm going to present a very interesting property for your consideration. My name is Marina. You're watching the Damlex Realty channel. And here we go. Before I invite you inside, I'd like to ask you to support this property with a like, because it has been such a long time coming. We wanted to film it and include it in our reviews so many times, but something always got in the way. Either the owner had to leave urgently, or I couldn't make it, or the weather was bad, but finally everything came together. We finally arrived. But you won't believe it, the forecast said rain today. Yesterday, the team and I were debating whether to cancel or not. It looked like it would be cloudy in the morning, so we decided we'd shoot even with clouds. Luckily, the weather took pity on us. The sky is clearing up a bit, though Barcelona is still in a haze. And that brings me to one of the secrets of this house. On a clear day, you can actually see Barcelona from here. You can spot the diagonal Mar district and Montjuic. So you get stunning panoramic views, not only of Barcelona, but just look behind me at that open water. When I first stepped into this house, I described it as a ship house. Because when you walk out onto the terrace, you genuinely feel like you're standing on the deck of a ship. First, I'd like to invite you outside, because the street itself also plays a big role in whether a house is worth buying or not. Look, we have a narrow street here, but its major plus is that it's a cul-de-sac. Nobody drives through here except for the residents or, well, people like us who came to film the house today. It's quiet and peaceful. We are located in the town of Arenys de Mar. This town is actually closer to the Costa Brava than to Barcelona. Because of that, whoever buys this house or lives in this area will have the privilege of easily driving to the Costa Brava beaches, which in my opinion are the best, and I'm sure that's a fact. Although there are beaches right here too, to my taste, they don't quite match those of the Costa Brava. But again, living in this area, you can just drive for about 25 to 30 minutes and find yourself right in the beautiful coves of the Costa Brava. Now let's head inside. There is a garage here, though it's on the smaller side. A distinct feature of hilly terrain, as you can see, is this fairly steep driveway down to the garage, which might seem a bit daunting to some. I can tell you right away that driving down here in a sports car is simply unrealistic. However, besides the garage, we also have an outdoor parking area. This means you don't even have to use the garage for a car. If someone needs an extra living area, it could easily be converted, especially since even the garage comes with a sea view. You could just park outside and perhaps put up a carport. Since no one currently lives in the house, the landscaping is basic and the garden is minimal. There's a cactus over there. The plot is terraced because, as you can see, we are on a steep slope. That's also why the driveway has such a sharp incline, but the space is well zoned. This section is meant for greenery. You could plant beautiful tropical trees here, which would also provide extra privacy from the street. Though, to be fair, it's already impossible to see what's happening here from the outside because the fences are high. Someone would have to stand on their tiptoes if they were really that curious. Setting up a proper garden here will be very easy because the plumbing is already installed and we can see that everything has been smartly engineered. Rainwater goes directly into this drainage system, so nothing will get flooded. During viewings, clients often ask me, is there a risk of the house flooding? It makes sense. With a slope like this and heavy downpours, water could theoretically get into the garage or the house. This is something you should always pay attention to. If you are choosing a property on a steep incline where water can run down, always check if it gets intercepted by these types of drains. Here, everything is perfectly taken care of. The entryway also opens up to a sea view. In fact, you'll have a view of the sea from absolutely everywhere here. Right by the entrance, there is a guest restroom, and central air conditioning is already fully ducted throughout the house. Moving through, we find ourselves back in the garage. As you can see, it's equipped with all the essentials, a water purification system and an electric vehicle charging station. Notice how everything on this main floor is on a single flat level. When designing this house, accepting that steep driveway down to the garage allowed the architects to create a perfectly flat living surface here. If the house had been built closer to the street, it would have required a lot more stairs inside because the uneven slope of the plot would have made a single level layout nearly impossible. I often get requests from clients looking to buy land. For instance, I'll find a great plot here for 350,000 euros, and they'll counter by sending me an Idealista link saying, look, you can buy a plot in this exact same neighborhood for 150,000 euros. I always tell them, yes, but it's going to be incredibly steep. To build a proper house on a slope like that, you have to invest a massive amount just into leveling the ground, and even then, due to building regulations, you can never level it completely. But I'll share more details about that next time. The point is, when you buy a cheap plot, it comes with downsides. Construction becomes much more expensive, the terrain remains uneven, and you end up with way more stairs inside your home. So keep that in mind. Always remember, you get what you pay for. A good plot of land can never be cheap, especially under our current market conditions where vacant plots are almost non-existent. Here is a bathroom with a tub, and as you can see, the space here is quite generous. It even has a bidet. Those who follow our channel closely know that bidets are rarely installed nowadays, and in many properties they are completely absent. On this side of the house, we have 1, 2, 3 bedrooms along the facade, and technically you could combine some of them. There are no load-bearing walls inside, so if someone doesn't need this many rooms, since the house features 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms in total, you can easily merge them. The best part is that all of them offer a sea view, and from right here you can really tell just how high up we are. Look at the houses built just above us. It might seem like they are on the same line as we are, but they are slightly higher. And just imagine the height we are at right now. You know, they have stunning views, of course. The sound of the surf here is incredible. It's pure bliss, just standing on the terrace overlooking the sea. This is actually the first time we are filming a house where the sea feels like your immediate neighbor. So let me share a little context for those who aren't familiar with this stretch of the coast. It runs from Barcelona all the way to the Costa Brava, ending at the town of Blanes. Its biggest defining feature is the commuter train line that runs right along the sea. This train line separates the beach zone from the residential area. This means that to access the beach, you have to use pedestrian underpasses beneath the tracks. In other words, you won't find the kind of direct access here that you might see in other locations or along other Spanish coasts, where you just park your car and step right onto the sand. It doesn't work that way here. You need an underpass. In fact, there is one just a bit further down, so you park, walk through the underground passage beneath the railway tracks, and you're on the beach. This is the case along the entire length of this coastline, and it's something you absolutely need to keep in mind. If you're looking for that Costa Brava experience, where you just walk out with a towel straight into a cove or onto the beach, you won't get that here. Don't be shy. Ask your realtor to drive you from your chosen property to the beach and show you exactly where the nearest access point is. I once had clients who came to us later as sellers, and they were deeply disappointed. Their previous agent had shown them a house, they loved it, and said, wow, we want to buy it. The agent pointed and said, look, there's the beach. But once they bought the house and moved in as owners, they discovered that the nearest underground passage was 3 kilometers away. The agent had hidden the fact that the sea wasn't within reasonable walking distance. So if this is important to you, always double check with your agent. It is our job to show you everything and answer all your questions, so never hesitate to ask. And look at this beautiful panoramic view. The double glazed windows here are excellent. I visited this house beforehand and specifically tested the soundproofing because of the train line. As a professional, I knew how important it was to check the noise levels for anyone who prioritizes peace and quiet. You honestly cannot hear the train inside. Another important point is that the trains don't run at night. They only operate during the day and not that frequently. A commuter train is nothing like an airplane. Take Gava, for example, where real estate costs astronomical amounts of money and many people dream of buying a home. But the airport traffic there is intense. You get a takeoff or landing every 2 minutes. For me, living in a beach area where planes fly over your head every 2 minutes would be a complete nightmare. Let's move on. This bedroom is a suite with its own private bathroom equipped with a shower. The shower here features a curbless walk-in design with just a slight incline in the floor to make sure the water drains perfectly. We have very strict building regulations here. Anything with a roof or canopy counts toward the total footprint. While it might not be calculated as 100% of the living space, it still counts toward your building limits. And that's exactly why these open spaces were created. I'm not even sure what to call them, but they couldn't be enclosed during the construction phase because the project had already maxed out the maximum allowable square footage. However, now that the final building inspection is complete and all the paperwork is signed, what's the move here? The idea is to extend this terrace out and move the glass railing further forward. Just imagine having such a massive, gorgeous terrace right outside your bedroom. It is completely doable, and the structural design fully supports it. In fact, the owner built the house with this exact strategy in mind, knowing that once the project was officially signed off, these partitions could be pushed out. So you could say these small balconies are just temporary. Whoever buys this house can easily turn this space into a magnificent terrace. For those two bedrooms, they would share that first bathroom with the tub we saw earlier. The layout was originally designed with a family in mind, say a master bedroom for the parents and 2 rooms for the children who would use that bathroom. Now let's head downstairs, and here we are in the living room. It has beautifully high ceilings. You know how much I love testing things like that out. And we'll definitely test out the kitchen in a moment too. As you can see, we have a load-bearing column right here. Again, because of the steep incline of the plot, the architects had to design it this way. There was simply no other structural solution. They had to place a column here, and of course, it does visually take away a bit of space from the living room. On the bright side, you can easily use it to zone the area. For instance, this could be your TV lounge, and over here you could set up a dining table since the kitchen is on this side, or maybe create a small home office nook. Bottom line, you can get creative with the furniture layout so that this column, which probably stands out like a sore thumb on camera right now, actually becomes an intentional part of the interior design. By the way, let me share a clever tip from an apartment I visited in Barcelona. The owners faced this exact same issue, and they played it off beautifully. They built shallow bookshelves just about 20 centimeters wide all the way around the column. It looked fantastic. You'd walk into the room and it was like a wrap around the library with sofas and armchairs arranged around it. When I first saw it, I didn't even realize it was a load-bearing column. I genuinely thought it was just a custom-shaped bookshelf. So that's definitely an option you could try here too. Let's move from this area into the kitchen, and let's be completely honest here. You know how much I love kitchens, and for me this one is a bit on the smaller side. I wouldn't have enough room to really spread out. Look, for example, I definitely feel a shortage of countertop space and cabinets for cooking. As for the layout, it's designed to have a dining table or a dedicated breakfast nook right here looking out at the water. But personally, I'd want to enjoy that sea view while actually cooking. If it were up to me, I would absolutely remodel this space and extend the kitchen further out this way. So there's definitely room for improvement here, but nothing is impossible. We always have to remember that you can remodel pretty much anything. The only thing you can never change is this right here. If you truly wanted a house with a sea view like this, but you compromised and bought something else instead, just because the price was good or it was highly recommended to you, you will always regret making that compromise. If this view is what you really wanted, go for it. Well, I just couldn't help myself. My hands literally reached to open the door to the terrace. I initially wanted to show you everything on this floor first, but I was just drawn out here. So let's just step outside right now. The swimming pool here is on the smaller side. As the owner explained to me, they couldn't make it any larger due to building regulations and the rather complex construction work involved. Look at this incline. The owner told me that initially the pool was planned down there in that lower section. However, once the excavation work began, there was a major risk of a rock slide. And remember, I showed you those houses earlier and the kind of cliff they are sitting on, right? Plus the highway is directly below us. So they had to abandon that idea because stabilizing it would have cost a fortune. Instead, they built the pool right here in this area. There wasn't as much free space left, which is why it turned out on the smaller side. Right below us is that section of the garden I showed you from above. You can start landscaping it whenever you're ready. The outdoor lighting is already wired and fully installed throughout. All it needs now is a personal touch to bring the garden to life. As for the flooring, this decking is actually tiled, not real wood, which is incredibly practical. With real wood, even if it's of the highest quality, it will still require annual maintenance and extra expenses because you have to treat it constantly. Our sun is very intense here, so natural wood doesn't always hold up well on open surfaces. Add the salty sea air to that and it's just not very practical. Tiled decking is definitely the way to go. One detail that leaves me wondering is why they chose to install windows with these structural divisions. I'm sure there was some specific reasoning behind it, but in my opinion, floor-to-ceiling windows with a solid pane of glass would look much better here. These frames visually cut into the space a bit. I don't know, maybe the architect had an idea that I'm just not seeing, but I'll definitely ask the owner about it. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it just caught my eye, probably because most of the newly built homes I've been visiting lately feature seamless floor-to-ceiling glass. Moving on, we have another exit leading to this part of the garden. There is much more shade here, so you could use this area for shade-loving trees or plants. It's also a perfect spot to hang out on scorching hot days and hide from the sun. Since the main facade faces the sea directly, that side gets an immense amount of sunlight. And since we've come this far, let's head downstairs. As you can see, when a plot is built on a slope, stairs are simply unavoidable. You have to be prepared for that. Down here we have a utility room and spaces that could easily be converted into a guest apartment. To be honest, since the owner is away and I'm here alone, I've completely blanked on the exact layout of this lower level. But hey, at least you can see that I'm showing you everything exactly as it is. If I don't remember something, I'll just say so rather than make things up. The plot extends all the way to the fence and everything here has been fully reinforced. So regarding what I said earlier about the builders fearing a rock slide, there is absolutely nothing to worry about now. Everything has been engineered perfectly. This house is truly for sea lovers. It's for someone who is absolutely obsessed with the idea of waking up, seeing the water and hearing the waves, and not just seeing it, but genuinely feeling it, because the fresh sea breeze here is incredible. Seriously. You know that feeling when you step onto a beach and immediately realize you're at the ocean because the salty, humid air wraps around you? That is exactly what you get right here in this house. So let's get straight to the point. The asking price is 2,650,000 euros. Some of you might say that's expensive or that the plot is too small, but let me give you a comparison. We currently have a listing in Calacaniels, right on the beachfront. That house isn't new and already requires some renovation. 2 floors are in good condition, but the third needs to be completely redone. The asking price for that one is 2,950,000 euros. So that's the market reality. This house is brand new, and while it's not the Costa Brava, it is more affordable and you don't need to do any major work here. Beachfront prices are high, whether you are in Maresme or the Costa Brava. If this seems expensive to you, I agree. It is a lot of money. However, a price like this isn't just pulled out of thin air. It is strictly driven by the market. Before a price is set, a thorough valuation is conducted. I can't speak for other regions, but when a client comes to us, wanting to sell their property, we perform a market analysis based on current inventory in that specific neighborhood, the price per square meter, and recent actual sales. We analyze the data and agree on a realistic figure with the seller. So when we quote prices that might shock you, I repeat, they are firmly backed by current market trends. All right, moving on. We have another bathroom with a shower here. Wait, a shower? What on earth would you need a shower for down here? Because there is a shower. Maybe I missed a bedroom somewhere? No, this is just a utility room. I mean, nobody is going to need a shower in here. So guys, we have another mystery on our hands. Why is there a full bathroom with a shower right here? Our camera operator suggested that maybe it's for rinsing off after the pool. I said, well, it seems a bit strange to walk all the way inside just to rinse off. But hey, houses sometimes have these architectural quirks. In any case, if you don't need this bathroom, you can completely remove it. I genuinely thought I had forgotten a bedroom, but there isn't one here at all. This bathroom just ends right here. Personally, I would tear all of this out to make the living room even larger. Basically, I'd knock down these walls, clear out the space, and expand the living area. It would look absolutely amazing, especially if you don't need an extra room. It's totally an option to get rid of it. If you do that, this entire level becomes a massive open-plan living room and kitchen with no bedrooms getting in the way. Honestly, I love that idea, leaving just the utility room as it is. By the way, the utility room is very well planned and cleverly designed. It has separate access for maintenance staff so they can enter straight from the outside instead of walking through the main house. That is a huge plus. But as for the rest of this section, yes, I would definitely knock it down. And now we are going to head up to the absolute crown jewel of this house. Let's go. And this right here, well, this is where even the harshest critic would just shut up and stare at the view. The scenery here is absolutely breathtaking. There's really nothing more to say. And just look at how fantastic this terrace is. Actually, there's a great idea for what you could do with it. This section can also be enclosed. You could put in a floor slab, a ceiling, and push the windows further out. From there, you could either install panoramic glazing around this entire corner or build a solid wall. In that scenario, the sea exit would only be from that side, and this whole area transforms into an additional bedroom while still leaving you with a terrace. That's just one option. Bottom line, there's plenty of room here to brainstorm and customize. Now, look at that old neighbor's house over there. You can see how different the building codes used to be back then. Have you noticed how many levels we have here? We might not notice it at first glance, but we can clearly see it using that house as an example. Look at the levels on that old property. There are only 2 levels from the street, plus the lower area where the pool is. And do you know why? It's simply because building regulations weren't nearly as strict back then. In the past, you could build retaining walls as high as your budget allowed. And as we know, a retaining wall isn't just a wall, it also defines how much usable flat land you get. So it's a pretty expensive undertaking. This is precisely why older homes are often much better suited for renovation projects. If you were to completely demolish a house today, the authorities would tell you to lower the profile and redo all those walls according to modern codes. But through a registered renovation, you can preserve a fantastic multi-tiered plot like this. In this case, you basically get 2 distinct zones, and you can completely remodel and rebuild everything inside to get a brand new house. I've had clients who bought old houses in even worse condition than this one, and they completely rebuilt them under the guise of a renovation, sometimes leaving just a single original wall standing. By the end, they even replaced that wall. But in doing so, they secured incredible privacy. Imagine their existing retaining wall was 7.5 meters high, whereas today, I think the maximum allowed is only 1.5 or 1.8 meters. That's a crucial tip for those who categorically refuse to look at older properties. That's why you need to analyze everything and approach the market smartly. Well, look at that. The view towards the city didn't quite clear up for us. When we first arrived, you could catch a glimpse of it. You could see Diagonal Mar and Montjuic Mountain. Now it's completely clouded over and the surrounding areas are getting foggy too. But hey, we broke the curse of this house. We finally managed to film this video. We caught some sunshine and managed to show you everything in normal weather without any rain. I hope everything was clear. If you have any questions left, feel free to drop a comment. We'll leave the link to this property in the description below. We are also excited to announce that we plan to continue showing you properties along this stretch of the coast. As a reminder for those who don't know, this area is called Maresme and it runs from Barcelona to the town of Blanes. Right after that, the Costa Brava begins and goes all the way to the French border. Just a quick side note about this location. It mostly attracts buyers who are focused on being close to Barcelona, whether it's for work, schooling, or simply because they love living near a major metropolis. For instance, I have buyers who choose this stretch because they are used to living in the suburbs of Miami back home, and they want that exact same suburban vibe near Barcelona, so they buy here. If you plan on running an active business, this is where you want to buy, because you'll need to establish your business in Barcelona, unless we are talking about passive income or the hotel industry, which is a different story. But if you are someone dreaming of a great lifestyle, then your destination is the Costa Brava. That's why when talking to you, I always start our dialogue with one question. What is your goal? Once the goal is defined, the buying process becomes a joyful experience. It won't be difficult and we can quickly find and select the perfect property for you. So ask yourself, what is the goal of my purchase? And everything will instantly become clear. Well, this has been Marina. You've been watching the Damlex Realty channel, and until next time, bye-bye!